Okay, so first off, we saw the movie last night, and we absolutely loved it. We have
great.
nothing but glowing things to say about
Oh,
it.
thank you so much.
And we were talking to Allison before, and she said that she was concerned and hopeful that loyal Potter fans would really love the film. And we told her that we truly think that they will. So I wanted you to know that as well.
It's always, you always get a little anxious when you're sharing something for the first time with people. Of course, those Potter fans it's our core audience, and there may be the expectation that there's going to be more sort of connective tissue in some ways than there is. There will be if we are fortunate enough to make go beyond this. I think you'll see there'll be more. We'll explore that more. But really, I think we want to make a film that would stand on its own terms. But I think you can still feel the spirit of Jo very much through it. And, I'm really proud of it.
It definitely felt, it felt very authentic to us, which is, in the Potter fandom, a very big deal.
Good. Well, that comes from Jo, that comes from David Yates and Stuart Craig and myself and everybody involved who are, we're Harry Potter obsessives too. So hopefully, it was exciting to go back to 1926 New York and still keep that Potterverse alive and to extend its reach beyond Hogwarts and into a whole new continent.
It must have kind of felt like going home for you, but in a truly alternate universe, because Dan wasn't there, Rupert or Maggie or even Alan.
Yeah.
So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it was when the idea of doing a film was mooted, I of course was thrilled because there was mixed feelings when Potter ended, that last day of shooting, or when we had the last premiere, which was bonkers in London in Trafalgar Square. It was amazing, and just the enthusiasm. It was very moving. It was just that connection to the fans and that family that we had when that last day of filming, and everybody was going their separate ways. There was sadness, but at the same time there was excitement because it got to go on to make other films, explore new ventures and new stories. But when it was of course great to come back, but you come with a little bit of trepidation. Is it going to be, because we had such fun making those films. They really were a family. We'd seen births and deaths and marriages and divorces. I got married. I know what film I met my wife, not the film we got married, what film we had our son. It's such a big part of my life personally and professionally. So I didn't want to compromise that in any way. So as you re-enter the world, admittedly it was separate because it was 1926, New York. There's no Harry, there's no Dan, there's no Hermione, there's no Ron. But what there is in some ways is, I think, while they're very different, these characters, and they're grown up, they are very much in the spirit of Jo. They're all outsiders. They're all innocents in a way, grown-up children of sorts. And the themes and ideas that resonate, which are of intolerance, of being true to who you are, the danger of repression, the way people are stigmatized, the world divided, those are themes that ran through Potter. So I think there really is a connection. In terms of as an experience, it was undoubtedly an experience. We were beginning again. We were starting a new family. It was never going to be the same as the old family. But the approach that we took, and David Yates is really essential to this, is to create a family-like atmosphere where people feel safe and where everybody behind and in front of the camera feels like they're contributing to the making of the film. So David takes ideas and listens to everybody. He treats everybody. We all treat everybody with respect. Whether you're making a cup of tea or giving them a sandwich in the morning, or you're the person who's putting on the bell that tells you that you can't come onto set because we're filming, or you're the cameraman or the leading man. Treat everybody with the same respect, and in doing that, everybody feels safe, everybody feels respected, and a new family is born.
You make me cry.
No.
No, it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Speaking of the filming and the process of all that, so Americans, they found out that this movie was going to take place in 1926 New York, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's finally my chance to be in a Harry Potter film. I'm going to be an extra. I'm going to go to every casting call and all of that. And then you still filmed in the UK and then some in Liverpool and kind of all over. So did you ever consider coming to New York for anything? And what happened?
We came to New York, we scouted, spent a couple of weeks here, Stuart Craig a little longer, looking at locations and all the likes. We decided not to film here for a couple of reasons. One, 1926. Well, New York today is not 1926 New York. Simple as that. I mean, you can find little bits of it, but in terms of the long avenues and streets, it doesn't exist. So even if we filmed here, we were going to have to create huge parts of it. And actually to have the control of building a set and extending it to digitally was amazing, so that we could film whenever we wanted. We could shoot wherever we wanted. We wouldn't have been able to do that here. There would be all sorts of limitations with dealing with the press taking photographs. We'd be dealing with honking horns. That was never an issue for us. So that was one key reason. And the other is financially it made sense. You know, it was a financial decision. So we filmed it, and you know, we wanted to carry on the tradition in some way. That's where the Potter films were filmed. How great to continue that tradition in London and at Leavesden, where we made all 8 films.
Will you be going to Paris for movie 2?
Well, David Yates today said that we would be. I, as the producer, say I'm not so sure. Paris today looks more like it did in 1926 than New York does. So I think that is true. But one's got to look at both the freedom that one has to shoot when you shoot on a set you build, and that you're able to adapt the city or the set to what your needs are. And also, again, financial, you know, if we were to go to Paris, we'd have to pay for everybody to stay and your large crew to you know, put them up, and there's certain tax benefits you get from filming, and the government subsidise to 25% of 80%, so around 20% of the budget you can get back from the government. So that's an incentive to film there, because there are practical, you know, how much, you know, we feel like we can do whatever we want in it. There are practical considerations. These are expensive films, and those are practical concerns. We are with Newt, Tina, Queenie, and Jacob. They are the drivers of the story. You know, Credence and Grindelwald feature, but you know, as well, and a host of new characters. You know, one of the great pleasures of coming to New York is the world is expanding. Going to Paris next time, the world is expanding. But Newt will be central to the next film. Beyond, you know, we'll see. I, like you, feel that I know Newt. I feel like I am Newt in some ways. You know, and again, it's what Joe does so brilliantly. It's what I love about our work is we know Newts, we know Tinas, we know Queenies, and we know Jacobs, and there's a hint of melancholy and sadness about each of them, because they are outsiders, like you, like me. We all feel outside, and I think that's very relatable. Newt is a little naughty, as David describes him. He's someone who because he gets on much, he feels more comfortable with his beasts than he does with people. It's very relatable. I can relate to social, I'm not sure, insecurity, but sometimes feel like discomfort sometimes when we're in social situations. And yet he's a really good person who, ultimately, you know, one of the things I love about this film, it's about connection and about finding people who understand who you are. It's way like Harry, Ron, and Hermione. It's that creation of a family. It's the family you make, not necessarily the family you're born into. And so I think Newt will be a significant part of this. I don't know. I'm not going to say whether he'll be to the end. I think he'll be around. But that is life, isn't it? You don't know at the beginning. The people you are with at the beginning, the friends you have at the beginning, are not necessarily the friends you have at the end. Circumstances take you in different places. That's life. By saying that, I'm not saying that Newt won't be around. I'm not. And I'm not saying that it's going to end up with Grindelwald and Dumbledore. Maybe not. Don't know. But at the moment, what I can say is that Newt will be a part of the next film, and a significant part.
Okay. Do you? Sorry, just one very, very quick question.
How can I not talk to these people? These are real fans.
I know. I'm sorry.
Come on.
Will you continue the naming tradition Have you thought about that at all? The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2? And then like a subtitle?
It's
or?
really interesting. We're having conversations about that. That hasn't been decided.
Okay.
I think that Fantastic Beasts will be a part of it. You feel that you establish that as a moniker of sorts, but it may be Fantastic Beasts and whatever.
Right, like Harry Potter and.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it'll be.
Okay.
And the beasts will be in the next film. There's a couple of really great beasts, but I think part of it is, it's and I think it's really important to think of this. The beasts are not just the beasts in Newt's case; it's the beasts in all of us, and the beasts that are unleashed when you are denied the right to be who you are. And I think that so I think it's important to think of beasts not just literally, but beyond.